In an old abandoned mansion on the outskirts of the city, where the shadow of darkness and fear loomed over every step, lived a lonely old man named Edgar. The whole town knew his story, and in the eyes of the locals, he became a living legend. It was believed that he possessed strange abilities and hid terrifying secrets that even the bravest wouldn't dare to speak of. But one day, a young man named Thomas appeared in the town, hopelessly in love with the local beauty Emily. He decided to win her heart by any means necessary, and then a strange idea occurred to him to prove his bravery and courage, conquer his fear, enter the mysterious mansion, and bring back evidence of its enigmatic nature. Thomas shared his plan with his friends, and intrigued by the mysteries and secrets, they decided to accompany him on this risky venture. So, at twilight, when the sun had already disappeared behind the horizon, 6 brave souls gathered before the gates of Edgar's mansion. Almost all the windows of the mansion were boarded up, and only occasionally, fiery eyes peered from the darkness. On the wall hung an old, cobweb-covered sign with the words, "Do not enter, danger." But the terrifying stories about the old man and his mysterious place only fueled the adventurers' thirst for excitement. Thomas, clutching a torch, took a deep breath and stepped forward through the overgrowth towards the mansion's door. The eerie creaking of the doors echoed around the perimeter as if the building welcomed its new visitors. The others followed him, and they all found themselves inside. The darkness was so dense that even the torch did not illuminate enough to see all the corners and nooks of the room. Thomas felt his heart pounding as if it wanted to escape his chest, but he gritted his teeth, trying to suppress his fear, and commanded himself to be brave. The group began to explore the mansion, and soon, they discovered a strange staircase leading down into the dark depths of the basement. The musty smell of old stones and mold was so thick that breathing became difficult. Initially, it was pitch dark, but as they moved forward, they found a faint light that led them to a small underground hall. In the center of the room hung a painting depicting a gloomy forest, and on each side were small candles, creating an eerie atmosphere. Suddenly, one of the candles went out, and then another. The hearts of the young explorers froze, their breath caught in anticipation of an unknown horror. And then, in the darkness, a strange whisper emerged. It sounded muffled and haunting, as if it was whispered from beneath the ground. "Thomas, Thomas, I know you are here," the whisper echoed. Thomas nervously glanced around, trying to understand what was happening. His friends exchanged worried glances, unsure of what to do. Then the whisper came again, louder and clearer this time. "Thomas, you want to uncover my secrets, but be careful. They are dangerous. One step, and you will forever dwell in darkness." Fear and unease gripped Thomas, but his love for Emily and his desire to prove his courage kept him resolute. Mustering his courage, he whispered, "Reveal yourself if you are truly here." The darkness shifted, and suddenly, on the wall, a distorted, ethereal figure appeared. Its eyes were red like to burning coals, and its hands disappeared into the misty gloom. Thomas felt his heart sink, but he tried not to show his fear. "You are young and foolish, Thomas," the entity whispered. "You wish to know my secrets, but you want to be able to handle what lurks in the darkness of my mansion. Go back while you still can." The entity chuckled softly, but menacingly, like leaves rustling during a forest storm. Then it whispered, "As you insist, young man, I shall grant you a glimpse of my secrets, but be prepared for the consequences." The darkness gave way to a pale light, and before Thomas' eyes, a horrifying depiction of Edgar's life unfolded. He learned about the old man's secret experiments and the dark rituals he performed in the depths of his home. Edgar possessed hidden knowledge that granted him inhuman longevity, but the price he paid for this life was ghastly and dreadful. Thomas felt fear grip his soul as he realized he couldn't bear witnessing all these horrors. He closed his eyes, but the entity kept him trapped in this nightmarish world. Then Thomas understood that Edgar wasn't merely in possession of dark knowledge, he had become an embodiment of evil that had engulfed the mansion and seeped into every wall. With the strength of his will, Thomas broke free from the grasp of the mansion's malevolent master and opened his eyes. He found himself back in the basement, and his friends looked at him with concern. "What happened?" they asked. Thomas recounted his vision, the terrifying secrets of Old Man Edgar, and how he became ensnared in the dark forces. He warned them not to venture deeper into the mansion and urged them to leave the place urgently. However, despite what he had seen, his friends were dissatisfied. They believed that Thomas had merely been scared and exaggerated his role to appear braver. They decided to continue their exploration. Thomas' heart sank for his friend's safety, but he couldn't stop them. As they ventured further into the mansion, their steps became heavier and slower, as if an invisible force pulled them back. Sinister whispers and ghostly shadows surrounded them, creating an atmosphere of terror and despair. In the darkness, a raspy laughter resounded, and the paintings on the walls seemed to come to life, turning into windows to other realms. Entities of evil emerged from the paintings and pursued the group. The friends tried to run, but it seemed futile. They had fallen into the trap of fear crafted by Edgar himself. As time passed, rumors spread throughout the town about the group of explorers who disappeared in the old mansion. No one knew what happened to these unfortunate young people, but everyone agreed on one thing: Edgar's mansion was a cursed place, and it was best not to meddle with its dark secrets. Thomas remained in the hearts of the locals as a perpetual symbol of warning about the dangers of seeking adventure and hidden knowledge.